Good evening, gents. If you're watching this, I'm gonna help you on your journey to becoming totally obese because I figured it's just too hard to get like an aesthetic body. So this is your full guide to becoming morbidly obese. I'm gonna help you out with that. But as you can see, I'm not morbidly obese myself. I'm working on it, but I do have a lot of knowledge about becoming obese and the science and the biochemistry behind it. So I'm just gonna give you all the info you need. And then I'm going to work on myself to become, bigger as well. So here it is. I made a nice presentation for you. How to build an obese body, the full guide to obesity. Well, that should actually be the full guide to morbid obesity because we don't want to be like just fat, but I'll get into that later. Everything will be clear. So for this, we need to explain a bit of science. You need to understand a bit of science behind this to understand the video, but it's going to be very quick and easy. Out of this entire picture, I know it might seem confusing, we only need to go a bit in these two, leptin and insulin. Now, leptin stems from the fat cell, as you can see over here, and it basically tells your brain that you have enough energy to burn off. It has enough energy, you can now burn it off. Meaning that if the leptin is somehow blocked and you don't have leptin and the brain doesn't get a leptin signal, it takes it as starvation. Then we have insulin. Now, insulin works both ways. It tells the fat cell to get bigger and it tells the brain to stop eating. I've had enough, stop eating. That's what insulin does. Now, let me just go to the next slide. I hope it can, so... Wait, I'm just going to make my screen a bit tinier. Right, so it should be tinier now and clearer. So as you can see, we have a diagram over here. You see leptin go to the hypothalamus, everything like that. So what happens when people become... Sorry for the interruption. So what happens when people become obese? There's something blocking the leptin signal to the hypothalamus. Now So we have three cases. We have people who have a genetic, dysformation or genetically disformed, and their leptin is just basically missing. So they have to be injected with leptin in order to get that signal. But these are only 14 people in the world. So that while that's good for them, then it can be helped. These are only 14 people. Then we have people who maybe their leptin has been damaged by surgery or by an accident, and their signal has been damaged. So, but that can be cured and helped as well. But then we have normal people. Something is blocking the signal of leptin for normal people. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about today. So first, I'm going to get into this lie that's been told over the years. For here, a calorie is a calorie, saying that all calories are the same. Now, let's get into this. Let's say we have 300 calories worth of nuts, and we have 300 calories worth of a burger, fast food. Are these the same amount of calories? Are these calories the same? Well, of course, they aren't. So what we want in order to become fat is we want to have a calorie surplus of this kind of food. Instead of this kind of food, because taking a calorie surplus of this kind of food combined with exercise, that builds an aesthetic body. So that's basically a bulk. It's a calorie surplus of healthy, simple foods, lean bulking, plus exercise. What we want to have is a calorie surplus of junk food, as junk food has unnatural fats as compared to natural fats. Nuts, for example, contain natural fats. Burgers have, or junk food and fast food in general, they have a simple carbs as compared to complex carbs. Complex carbs are good because complex carbs actually give you more energy for the gym. Of course, we want to avoid that because we want to become like this. We want to become like this. We don't want to become like this. So we want to have a calorie surplus of this and no exercise. That's exactly what we want to go for. Now, in order to avoid, when you are on a calorie surplus on this, you want to avoid losing fat because there's actually something else to fast food, but that's what we will get into later. There's the addictive substances in it, there's the simple carbs, there's the unnatural fat, and there's something else. But I'm going to hold you I'm going to keep you waiting for that one. So, right. We want to avoid cold showers. Why do we want to avoid cold showers? Now, cold showers are highly effective when it comes to losing fat. Why? Because calories are a measurement of heat. And by taking a cold shower and getting out of it and not, drying yourself off with a towel, your body will have to search for more heat. It will have to heat itself up more, meaning you are burning more calories. So taking a cold shower is the most effective way to lose fat, meaning we want to avoid this at all costs. Only take hot showers, only. Otherwise, you're going to lose all that fat. And we want to avoid that as much as possible. The next thing we want to avoid is weightlifting. Now, as I said and explained, if you take a calorie surplus of this healthy food, simple foods, and exercise, you are bulking. Now, the thing is, exercising is not very good for losing weight. You don't lose a lot of weight when it comes down to exercising. You don't lose weight. You are building muscle. That's the difference. You are building muscle when you exercise. And when you're doing cardio, you're building even less muscle, which is why cardio is even less effective than normal weight training when it comes down to losing weight. Because when you are exercising and you're building muscle, your muscle basically gets teared up. So it gets broken up, and you need proteins and foods to repair that muscle and make it even stronger. That's how we get bigger muscles. We break down our muscles, we consume food, especially protein, and that food and nutrition, especially protein, rebuilds our muscles. We don't want that any of our food and energy goes towards our muscles. We want that all our energy gets stored up. So that because when energy is stored up, we become obese. Right. So avoid cold showers, avoid weightlifting, and avoid fasting. Do not fast. Fasting is a very effective way to prevent yourself from losing weight. No, to lose weight, sorry. It's a very effective method to lose weight, fasting. Because you're basically starving yourself. And as we said, as we said with the leptin and insulin, if you're starving yourself intentionally, and you eat in like a certain window and you don't eat throughout the day, that is better for your, you will gain more weight. So avoid fasting at all costs. A bit difficult to explain fasting, but just avoid it. Now, as I said and as I explained with the burger, there is simple carbs, there is unnatural fats, and there was something else. There was something else there. And I also said there was something here for normal people that was blocking the leptin signal. Now, what is that? What is that certain thing? Now, this is also a thing that cannot barely be burned off. Have a look at these two livers right here. So you can see with this one, there's a bit of fat on the outside, but inside, pretty healthy actually. See, trunk fat, and there's more fat on the outside, but inside pretty healthy. Compared to this one over here, there's a bit of fat on the outside as well, but actually not that much. But look at the inside. Which one looks more unhealthy? This one is the very unhealthy liver. And that's the exact thing we're going to talk about. The big bad, but the good for you. The thing blocking our signal over here is insulin. Now, insulin is basically, in this case, sugar. Now, let me just read my notes for a second because I want to explain this as well as possible because you need to become obese, okay? Vertical showers, big man. Yeah, so, that was it. So, insulin, that was it. Okay, so insulin blocks the leptin. Insulin basically, so you need insulin 2 times in your life. Insulin is what causes you to gain weight. As I said, insulin basically tells your fat cell to get bigger and your brain to stop eating. when you are full. Now, insulin is needed for weight gain 2 times in your life, during puberty and during pregnancy. That should be your insulin signal should be on. It's needed. The leptin signal should be blocked because you need to gain weight. The problem is what we have and what causes obesity is it's on constantly. The insulin is constantly on and doesn't stop. We don't get it. It doesn't stop giving us that insulin signal because we don't just want to be obese. Because as you can see, this guy just has some fat on the outside, which can be burned off very easily. This guy over here has like this guy. This is where the diseases come from. This causes the diseases. We want to be morbidly obese. We want to have the heart attacks. We want to be, sick. We want to be morbidly obese. And what causes this insulin is this. So we have over here glucose and fructose. So glucose is very important. It's so important that our body makes glucose by itself. If we don't have a sufficient amount of it, it makes glucose by itself. The problem is, and it uses it for energy in the body. It's very important. What's not important at all, and the body doesn't use for energy at all, is this. Fructose. Fructose is basically sugar. Sugar causes the insulin to not stop. We'll get into this more. So glucose versus fructose, and let me see the next slide. So yeah, glucose versus fructose. Let's see for glucose. Glucose, if you eat, let's say, 80 calories or 300 calories of glucose, 80% of that goes towards your organs, and 20% of that goes towards your liver. Now, in your liver, it goes to your glycogen. Glycogen is good because glycogen is good because it's more energy. It has more energy in reserve. So glucose is very good, gives you more energy, and is energy for the body and for the organs. Now let's look at alcohol. Alcohol has about 80% goes to the liver and only 20% goes to the organs. Now, as you can see here in the liver, there's no glycogen. It bypasses glycogen and goes straight over here. It goes straight to, so yeah, alcohol isn't, so alcohol is used for energy, fructose isn't. So alcohol is used for energy, but fructose isn't, which is why 20% is going to the organs. So it bypasses glycogen and it goes straight to the mitochondria. Now this causes big time fat making, and because alcohol also has a effect on the brain to trick you into drinking more, there is a positive feedback loop, and you will gain a large amount of weight. Now let's go to fructose. Fructose, 100% goes towards the liver, 0% goes towards the organs. It feeds 100% goes to the liver. And once again, we can see, just like with alcohol, it bypasses the glycogen, goes straight to the mitochondria, causes big time fat making, and these are all the same calories. So in this example you see here, for the glucose, the alcohol, and the fructose, the calorie amount is the exact same. So because it goes straight over here, it causes fat liver. It tells insulin to not work, and so it basically stops insulin, which is why insulin needs to make more insulin in order to work, which basically tells the brain, I am starving, I need more. And that's exactly what we saw here. It blocks the leptin that, okay, I have enough energy to burn off. It blocks that, and it just keeps telling the brain, I am hungry, I am starving, I need more, which is why you just are stuck in a positive feedback loop right now, just like with the alcohol, of gaining more weight. Now that's the first problem. Now the second problem is this: cell aging. Fructose speeds up cell aging. If you have like a glass of orange juice, Your cells and your bones, your bone marrow is basically browning faster. You are aging, your cells are aging faster because of fructose. Now, I want to talk about a test that was done by the person that I got this a lot of info from this for this video. His name is let me just see the name over here. Where's the name? Where's the name? Dr. Robert Lustig, and the video is called Fat Chance Fructose 2.0. So if you want to learn more about becoming obese, watch that video. So he did a test to have people, that basically got these results. That if people consumed 150 calories extra per day, they had a 0. Per day, diabetes prevalence was up by 0.1%, which is basically non-existent. If the 150 calories extra per day consumed were a can of soda, the diabetes prevalence went up by 1.1%, which is about 1,000-fold. So diabetes is only caused by sugar. The difference is limit versus no limit. Alcohol, positive feedback loop, gain weight. Fructose, positive feedback loop, gain weight. The difference is alcohol has a limit. If you drink too much pints, you're on the table. You can't walk. You're paralyzed. Soda, on the other hand, well, you can drink as much as you want. So drink soda all day because you'll keep drinking. It's because of this. Your dopamine is fried. There's a lot of different reasons why people could be obese. Maybe they're eating constantly because of hunger. That can be cured, as we said. Maybe it's because of addiction, which is harder to cure, but still curable. So it's because the reward system is defective, as we saw right here, or it's because of stress eating. Now, this is very hard to cure. And a large problem of this is also the dopamine is fried, and we try to eat more food to get the same dopamine reward. Now, dopamine, of course, is a hormone of pleasure. Now, as I said, we want to consume fast food. Why is that? Because fast food is addictive. Why is it addictive? What in fast food is addictive? So let's just see at what's addictive and what's not. Fats, well, fats are bad for you, can be bad for you, but not addictive. Salt, not bad for you, not addictive. Caffeine is massively addictive, but not bad for you. Sugar, addictive and very bad for you. In other words, sugar is the big bad, the big major problem. But for you, it is a godsend to becoming obese because it will basically make your insulin go insane, block your leptin, make you think you're starving all the time, make you addicted. Your dopamine sensor will get fried. You'll want to get that same dopamine reward and live up to that same dopamine reward by consuming more. And it's addictive because of the sugar as well. I think that was all the slides that I had at the moment, actually. Yeah. So some other thing I want to get into before I end this is eat low-fat foods. Why? Well, there's another lie in the industry, which is that fats are supposed to be the big bad, which is not the case. Fats can be bad if you eat too much of it, certainly the unnatural fats. But in our case, it's good, of course. But fats in itself aren't the big bad. So when they're making, because fat add a lot of taste. So when they're making low-fat foods, they add something in. Because low-fat foods on their own, they taste like shit. They taste absolutely horrible. They don't taste like anything. So they need something simple, cheap to add to these low-fat meals. What do they add to give it flavor? Sugar. So eat everything that has like low fat on it, on like the back, low calorie, low fat. Eat it. Eat it because it has guaranteed added sugar. It has added fructose, which means more fat for you, positive feedback loop, addiction, dopamine fried, and all of that stuff. So I hope what I explained was pretty clear and you now know how you become morbidly obese. So I'll just say them a few simple steps. So high calorie surplus of junk food. Avoid cold showers, which are the best way to burn fat. So avoid these. Avoid weightlifting because these cause muscle reparation. Basically, they take the energy that you need to store up to become obese, and they take that energy and they form it into muscles. So you want to avoid weightlifting, and you want to avoid fasting. What you want to do is consume high amounts of sugar, which is why you want to go in a calorie surplus of junk food, which has high amounts of unnatural fats, simple carbs, and a lot of sugar. So you want to eat high amounts of sugar, drink high amounts of sugar, so that you get addicted to it, your dopamine gets fried, and you are in a positive loop to basically constantly eat shit foods. So yeah, if this wasn't clear enough, please watch Fat Chance Fructose 2.0. I'll link it in the description below. Thank you for watching, and I wish you good luck on becoming morbidly obese. And may you become very unhealthy.